Hi, everyone. I am Tiffany Pendleton.
I'm John Pendleton,
I'm 34 years old.
35.
And yeah, we are the Pendletons. We just wanted to thank you all from the bottom of our hearts for all of the love and support, tuning in, subscribing, all the comments. You guys, it's been truly amazing. Um, it's currently the end of 2023. It's December. It's just been an unreal experience. You know, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We've made friends all over the world.
Yeah, not the
Inside
country, the world.
the world.
Like,
And
it's amazing. On my TikTok, if you're watching this, you've probably seen my TikTok, and I have people commenting from everywhere in the world, and it's so awesome to see because I love it. I've seen Germany, Ethiopia, South Africa, Australia a bunch of times. My Australian, those guys are over there. Y'all are supporting all the time. I see Australia more than most places.
really,
Yeah, I see Australia a lot. So it's pretty awesome. Um, what other ones have we seen? We've seen Italy, France. I already said
a
Germany.
lot of Canadians.
Yeah, Canada.
So for everyone who is new and tuning into us for the first time, thank you guys. We are down here in little old Loxahatchee, Florida. We're kind of like literally this small on the map. So shout out to our fellow Locks family and
That's right.
friends. We're here to rep and support our community. And again, it's truly just been the most humbling experience. So we feel like we owe you guys complete transparency about us. Husband and wife, we have two beautiful children. We're from here, South Florida. And yeah, we want to take you a little bit backwards of what we've been through and who we are today. And yeah, so let's start. This is by far the hardest episode that we've had to make. There's no real planning or preparing for any episode. And I have to say that and I'm sure you guys can relate, when you're talking with a friend or somebody you meet on the street, it's so easy to connect with them. But when you're talking about yourself, it's a little bit harder, because you have to dig deep for, the truth and the right emotions and being transparent these days. You're so afraid of what people are going to think about you. And, so we really hope not to receive any backlash from this. A lot of our friends and family don't even know the true ins and outs of our lives. But considering that you guys have all been so truly amazing, supporting us this far, we feel like it's time. And this year's over. So 2023 for us was 2023 and free from our trauma, our demons, everything that's hurt us since John's been injured. We felt like it was time to heal and move on. And, we will never forget that day. We will never forget his 30 surgeries and what this has done to our family. But walking into 2024, we want it to be 2024 and transparent. We want to be real with you guys, open with you guys, no secrets, nothing. We want to help the world and everyone. And by sharing our transparency, we know that we're going to be able to help a lot more people.
Hopefully.
So here it goes.
Yeah, here it goes. What do you want?
Oh. Again, none of this is scripted. None of this is planned.
All right, go ahead.
John is my best friend. John will always be my best friend. And it makes me emotional. Because I have to say that 75% of the people that we have met in the last 4 years, their trauma or their circumstances have completely wrecked their lives, wrecked their relationships, wrecked their marriages. It's destroyed them.
Yes.
And John and I are going on almost a year being separated.
Yeah,
And
what you see is, it is us, but we don't show the bad side. We're not going to sit there and record every second of our life. So you do see a lot of the good stuff. It's us. It's us having fun and us talking to our guests and playing on TikTok and all that shit. It is us. But you don't see what we've gone through and the pain in our relationship that we've had to deal with. And me being hurt, it did take a huge toll on our marriage. So,
but there's so many different factors that goes into it. But before we go there, like he said, we are who we are. And the one thing that this trauma and this tragedy never took away from us is our love for people, our love for wanting to help people. We've always helped people. We've always donated to any cause we can.
I like to see people smile.
John has always taken the shirt off his back for anyone he meets. This is who we are. So you guys have seen a lot of transparency already, but now knowing that we have been separated for almost a year is the truth. We are together 90% of the week. The only time we are not together is in the morning when we all wake up and at night before we all close our eyes. That's it. So what? That's like 8 to 12 hours that we're not together every day.
Yeah.
We have the most.
There are some days, the weekends or something, maybe I'll go fishing on Sunday and I won't see her or the kids Sunday, but it's back to the same schedule every day.
We're working together. We raise the kids together. We do all the activities with the kids together. The podcast, the apparel line, our lives are together. We are just living separate. And we have the most incredible relationship. We are still married, legally married. There's no plans for us to get divorced anytime soon. So, ladies, I see you. I see your comments. I see everything. But but at the end of the day, yes, we close our eyes separately, and it's been a blessing for both of us to be able to have this separation and use 2023 to heal and grow for the both of us, as this trauma made us into people that we didn't want to be.
So we can get into a little bit of that.
But I want to take you guys back of who we were before that too.
Okay.
You want to say something?
No. Let's take you back.
All right. So as you see, the love we have for each other is still so unreal. We just needed space and time to heal ourselves, because being together 24/7, going through 30 plus surgeries in less than 4 years and having 2 small children, it just became chaos all the time. And our life is still chaos all the time. But we'll get into that. So John and I met when we were 15. We're 34 and 35. We've known each other for a really long time. We met our freshman year.
Yes, we met through friends.
Yes. And we were both in relationships.
We were both in relationships. There was it was just strictly friends. We didn't see each other as, let's get together or whatever. It was just, we became friends. And then we hung out. Not every time, not a lot, as much as most people did, I guess. So, but after high school, we kind of went our separate ways. I traveled the United States. I put up ski lifts and sky rides. Worked for the family business.
You're originally from New Hampshire.
Yeah, originally
Shout
from
out
New
to
Hampshire. All my New Hampshire guys and girls out there. So yeah, I did that, and then I did that for I don't know, year and a half, 2 years. And then I came home to Florida and ended up running into Tiffany again.
So wait, that's his hat. While he was out building ski lifts all over the country, I went to cosmetology school. I got licensed in nails, makeup. I went for massage therapy. I ended up doing eyelash extensions, and that's where my journey began. So yes, we reconnected and I had my daughter Chloe 2 weeks before my 21st birthday. So we had different relationships and we were doing different things, and then we reconnected in 2014.
Yeah.
And we have not left each other's side really since then.
Pretty much.
We've had our bouts of crazy relationships as we were young. I believe I was like, 23 and you were 24 when we met again. We were super young.
Yeah, we were young.
John had a really nice motorcycle.
I think it was a piece of shit. It wasn't a really nice motorcycle. It was a decent street bike that I got on the cheap and had fun with it.
I'm talking about the Harley. You got the Harley
Yeah, but
shortly after we got together.
Yes.
Like
then
a
I
couple
traded it.
weeks.
Yeah, then I sold the street bike and I bought the Harley.
So
And we rode a lot.
talk about a hot blonde with blue eyes and a big old Harley.
Yeah.
We had some fun. So yeah, when I met John again, Chloe was 3. She was still in diapers. And John welcomed her with open arms, and he right away became daddy to her. And
She was adorable.
yeah.
Now
So-
she's a fucking tornado.
she's 13 now. So shortly after we got together and, you met Chloe and stuff, we hit it off super fast. We moved right in together. And we had big dreams. You
Moved into a house and had a duffel bag.
right.
That's it.
Nothing to our name.
We didn't have furniture, nothing. We had a blow-up mattress, a house. We moved into a decent house with a duffel bag and a blow-up mattress. And then it was just like every chance we got, buy a piece of furniture, buy Chloe more toys, set up Chloe's room. So it was good because me personally, I used to say all the time, I'd never get married and I'll never have kids. I don't want kids. I don't want to deal with kids, none of that. And then when we met and started talking and she said, I have a daughter, I was like, okay, whatever. And then I met Chloe and it was like, she's so cute. She was adorable. Her personality was just like no other little person that I've ever met. I mean, her personality was something else. And I just fell in love with her. And from there on, it was like, I could see myself being a dad. And once, we started really connecting, me and Chloe, she did one day ask me if she could call me dad. And it like, there's no other feeling in this world than from a child that is not your blood to ask, can I call you dad? I mean, it melted my heart. And yeah, so after that, we started making a life for ourselves.
We made a really good life for ourselves. And, we were still young. We were 23 and 24, I want to say. That was 2014. We were still drinking. We were still having fun. We were riding the bike. And
I was drinking a lot.
John was drinking a lot.
I was a raging alcoholic.
So John made the ultimate decision
to
for
get
all of
sober.
us. He did. He got sober all on his own.
I dumped everything out that I had in the house, dumped it all out down the kitchen sink, and never looked back. And it's been 9 years.
Yep.
So
2024 will be 10 years that he's been sober from alcohol.
Yep.
And he never touched a drink after his accident.
No, as much as I wanted to, believe me. I wanted to a lot. But I knew if I did that, it would have been a vicious circle.
Yeah. So he met Chloe. We started our life in our house with a suitcase, and that was it. And yeah, having my cosmetology background, I wanted to start my own business. And he jumped right on board. He supported me. He told me I could do it, and I ended up doing it. I had a crazy successful business doing individual eyelash extensions.
It was disgusting. Like, How many? All right, just to let you guys know. So the house we were living in was in a nice neighborhood, and our neighbors. We were first of all, we were the youngest couple in the neighborhood to have a house there. We were renting. We didn't buy the house, but we were the youngest couple. So our neighbors thought that we were fucking drug dealers because we would have every other hour there would be a new car, and it was always a nice car. So you had Mercedes, BMWs, you had Porsches, everything coming in and out of the house. We did. It looked like a trap house, but it wasn't.
It was just gorgeous women from all over West Palm Beach coming to see me.
To do their lashes, and
Yeah.
it was crazy because it was nonstop.
And I worked all
All
day,
time, all night.
I would work till midnight sometimes. I'd take Chloe to preschool. She was super young. Come back, start working, go back, pick her up. John would come home. He would watch her. He would cook dinner. I'd go back to work. Then I started having employees because I wanted to cover all over South Florida. We took a trip to Tennessee one time
Yep.
because I wanted to expand out of Florida. Like, this is back when individual eyelash extensions got popular. So this is 10 years ago, and now they've just blown up. But obviously, I had to stop doing that once John got hurt. When I started my business, that's when you first got into the mining industry.
Yeah.
So you worked a couple different things out there.
I did everything out there.
Yeah.
I would say I did at least 95% of stuff out there. I did the plant work. I have run equipment out there. I've run the biggest equipment that I had out there. I worked on all that equipment. I did drilling and blasting. That was fun. I mean, I did it all in the mining industry, and that was like that's where I found. People are like, "Oh, I look for a career. I gotta look for a career." That's when I found that was going to be my career because that was my passion. I mean, the manual labor that came with that job was unbelievable. Like,
My house was covered in grease.
there was
all the
grease
time.
on me
On the
24/7.
walls,
It
on
didn't
the
matter.
floors, everywhere.
You could take a shower 10 times and still have cam grease on you somewhere.
What was that one shit called?
The orange stuff.
Gojo.
Oh, Gojo, yeah.
Oh my god.
I'd have that in the shower
with
by a
it.
bucket. Just wash your whole body with it. But that was it. That job, I was so happy with that job. And that was bringing in a good amount of money. And then she was making a good amount of money. So we were young and we had money in the savings account. We had money in our banks. Felt good because we had nothing
Yeah.
when we started. So
We
it was
didn't
nice
have
to build
anything
our
handed
life.
to us.
No.
We worked for everything we had.
Yeah.
We've built this life from the ground up, and we had big dreams. We still have really big dreams, and that's why we're here to be transparent with you guys, because I hate to toot our own horn, but together we are a force to be reckoned with.
It's true.
We are pretty unstoppable when we put our minds to something, and the love that we'll always have for each other, no matter what, it's unbreakable. So I started my business. He got in the mining industry, and we started talking about babies and marriage. So from 20,
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was somebody kept hinting that they want another baby, and then it was, I need another baby. I need a baby. I want a baby. I didn't want to have another baby. I had Chloe, and Chloe was plenty for me. Believe me, she was not. I mean, she was all over the place. So that was plenty. She was a handful.
so yeah, from 2014 to 2016, we had our fun. Then we started talking babies and marriage.
Yeah.
And he finally proposed in 2016, and I was in a Ninja Turtle t-shirt
In the kitchen.
cooking dinner. I don't even think I had pants on.
No.
And here comes Chloe and him walking up to me.
That's because Chloe said, "Dad, are you ever going to ask Mom to marry you?" I said, "You know what? Let's do it right now."
No
So we
ring,
did.
nothing. In the kitchen, and it was right before Christmas.
Yep.
So we have pictures from that, and that was one of the happiest days of my life.
And then we went and picked out your ring.
Yeah.
I let her pick it out because
you did.
guys, we all know that women say, "Oh, I want you to propose with a ring," but in reality, you know how hard it is to get a ring for a woman that's going to be their like perfect ring. We can't do that. It doesn't happen. I just let her pick that shit out on her own. She's got it. That's what she wants. That's what she's gonna get.
So yeah, I absolutely know how lucky I am and what an amazing man I've had all these years. So in 2017, we got married.
Yeah.
Chloe was in our wedding,
Yeah.
and we took an amazing honeymoon to Puerto Rico. And then we came back and
Yep.
went to all the theme parks in Orlando, just the two of us.
Yeah.
It was amazing. We have an interesting story about that one.
It wasn't that amazing, first of all.
Somebody's legs started chafing in the middle of the park, and he started having a meltdown from the pain. But we
walking around a fucking park for hours and hours and hours and hours. I was chafing, and there was nothing to stop it. So it was like, can we hurry up and be done with this day? And no, we didn't. We stayed longer.
So we had fun on our honeymoon, and that was 2017. I got pregnant with Corbin, our youngest, immediately. I think I was maybe even pregnant on the honeymoon because
it was pretty fast.
I was like, oh my God, like I can't even see straight, think straight. We were in the elevator and I felt like I was going to collapse.
Yeah, you had no clue that we had no idea that she was pregnant.
Yeah.
And then she just felt when we got back, it was, I feel like I'm pregnant. She took a test and boom, positive. And then all I could do was, please be a boy.
Do you remember how I told you I was pregnant?
Yeah, a box of donuts.
So I had the girl at Dunkin' Donuts right inside.
Like, I need some more donuts.
Something like, I'm not the only one. Or how did it go? Do you remember? I put the pregnancy test under the box of donuts.
Yeah.
And it was like, I'm not the only one who needs to eat these or something like that. But it was really cute. And I have a video of him being so surprised that I was pregnant. And then saying, I hope it's a boy.
Yep.
And then, so we had Corbin in 2018. And shortly after that, we also bought our first home.
Yes.
And
shortly after that, I was electrocuted.
Yes.
Actually, so that I will say this. The day before my accident, my daughter, her birthday was actually before my accident, but she kept asking me for a go-kart. Dad, I want a go-kart. Dad, I want a go-kart. Dad, I want a go-kart. And it was like, yeah, we'll get around to it, which we had the property that she could run a go-kart around. It'd be fun. So I finally found one on Facebook Market, and it was like $250. 2-seater, perfect for her. Had a roll cage, didn't have some big motor on it. That's what I wanted. I wanted her to be able just to putt around the yard and have fun. So I picked it up with a friend. We went, actually my friend's fiance, we went and picked it up and brought it back. Corbin, he was a baby. He got to sit in it and he looks at it, he's playing. I wanted to give it to her that night. Mom said, no, she has school tomorrow. Put it in the shop. So, all right, yeah, you're right. She has school tomorrow. Put it in the shop. Next day, electrocuted.
Yeah. I
So then it was,
that.
it was whatever. But it was, like 4 months later is when I finally got to give it to her.
No.
Yeah,
you
it
gave
was.
it to her right as soon as you got home from the hospital. So.
Oh, I guess so. 2.5 months then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have pictures and videos from.
Yeah, she flipped out. She was like, "Oh my God, Dad!" And I was like, "Yes." And then we started, and she drove that thing around 3 times, and then she took out a support beam on the fence, and she never wanted to get it again.
Yeah, it scared her.
And I was like, "It's fine. You're good. Just keep running it." Nope, all done. So then I sold it.
So yeah, at that time, Corbin was 1 and Chloe was 8, and they were super little still. She was in the 2nd grade when he was 1. So yeah, that's how old they were right when John got hurt. And then, as you can imagine, the toll that it took on all of us. We were initially in the hospital for 2 months with him, went through quite a few surgeries in that time, his complete head reconstruction.
Yes.
And we're going to get into another video where we do talk about all his surgeries and, what he went through and what I went through during that. So we're going to keep this to just who we are and stuff.
Yeah.
But, life didn't just stop or focus on John's injuries. There was still 3 other people in this family. And when he got hurt, we had to get a hotel in Miami, and the kids still had to go to school. And at that point, I wasn't working because Corbin was so little. I wanted to have the same relationship as I did with him that I did with Chloe. I stayed home with her for the first 2 years of her life. Corbin, I wanted to do the same. So I was on a pause from my business, and John was the sole provider at that time. So when he got hurt, we had the hotel in Miami, and the kids would come visit on the weekends with family members, and family members would fly in and help take care of them. And just, it was chaos. But about a year after John was injured in 2020, Chloe never knew that John wasn't her father from the time he met her.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I'm all she knew.
So being 8 years old, she was now almost 9 years old a year later. She, with a baby brother, with a hurt dad, with me who had no, time for either of these children. It was basically bring them to school, pray that the teachers gave them the love and support that they needed, because I had to focus on John. And at the end of the night, I had the baby to take care of. So she kind of fell to the back burner, and she became super resentful for quite a bit of time.
And she is very smart.
Yes.
So she started piecing shit together, and she figured it out. She was like, my last name is not the same as my brother's or my dad, but it's the same as my mom. And that confused her. And then it was like stupid things. She just started picking them up and putting pieces together. And finally, it was like, we have to tell her,
Our community and family and friends started really rallying for us.
Yeah.
People that we don't even know came together for our family. And she was in elementary school, and they started, coming up to her, is your dad okay? She actually found out he was hurt by somebody at school. We didn't even have the chance to break that to her.
Yeah.
So fast forward a year after John was out of the hospital, she's really starting to ask questions. Are you my dad? Blah, blah, blah. We break it to her.
Yeah. It's not very nice.
The very next day, she has a tonic-clonic seizure.
Yeah.
So we were like, we felt so bad that we broke it to her that night that I went online and I planned an excursion down in the Keys to go meet dolphins. And we drove down there that morning, and she had her seizure at the dolphin place.
Yeah.
Right before we met them.
Yeah.
It was the scariest thing I have ever seen. And she didn't get help at that moment because she came out of it. She was talking to me again. She was fine.
Yeah, it wasn't very long.
No. It felt like forever.
Yeah.
But it was less than a minute.
Yeah. 30, 40 seconds in, and it was started coming back, and it was like we had no clue what just happened.
Right.
So we were terrified because she went completely pale, started to, convulse, and her eyes are starting to roll. And it happened like that. And I mean, out of nowhere. And we've never had that experience with that. So we were very scared.
Yeah. It's just another traumatizing experience that we've all been through. And, that stemmed from stress on her part. The stress of her father getting hurt, and then the stress of us telling her that he is not her biological father.
Yeah.
So for our daughter and myself, it kind of is, but it isn't my story to tell. But being transparent, Chloe's father was never actively in her life. And that is why we never told her about him, because John immediately picked up that role, ran with it, and became the best father that he could possibly be for her. So when we, she started asking all these questions and we broke it down to her, we actually had to also break to her that her biological father was no longer here on this earth. When she was and we told her this when she was almost 9. This was a couple weeks before her 9th birthday.
Yeah.
When she was 5 years old, I received news that he had passed. So she never had the opportunity to meet him. His family, we welcomed them into her life at 5 years old with open arms. We love all of them to death. They're amazing people. But unfortunately, Chloe never got to meet her biological father. So breaking all that to her at one time,
It was rough.
it was extremely rough. All of our hearts were broken. Next day, she has a tonic-clonic seizure. You know, we tried to plan a nice day. For
And
all
the
of us.
shittiest part was that, you know, her being so smart that she was and piecing all of it together. It got to a point where we couldn't, you know, you didn't want to throw it all at her at once, but we had no choice. Like, she figured it out and we had to come up with the answers.
Yeah.
So she left us with no choice and we had to tell her. And it was, you know, it was very, very hard to tell a child that calls you dad that you've raised. I mean, you have worked your ass off to make sure she has somewhere to sleep at night, has every toy she wanted, you know, everything she needs, to tell her that I'm not your dad. It killed me, but we had to because she deserved to know the truth. And after that, it was pretty rough. She definitely was very resentful and she didn't know how to lash out or who to lash out to. So yeah, she started to lash out a lot to me, and I think one time is when she tried to pull the "you're not my dad" shit with me, and that was because I told her to go clean your room, and she didn't. And I walked in her room. I said, "I told you to clean your room," and she said, "Well, you're not my dad." And I put a stop to that immediately.
Yeah.
So I said, "Let me tell you, I have paid everything for you. I have raised you. I have wiped your ass. I'm your dad. We don't have to be blood. I have raised you to who you are. I'm your father." And then, I mean, I think that did, at that point, she was probably like
Nine.
9, 10, almost 10. And like I said, she's very smart. So once I said that to her, it kind of sunk in and she took it, and, you know, she still had her attitude and stuff like that. But I did notice that she did start to change little by little by little. And she started to open up to where we used to be, and started, it was hard. It was a very hard journey to get to that relationship we used to have. I mean, now, her being 13, she has a lot more attitude, and I don't know who she gets it from, but somebody. And it is hard for that, but I think that we have a decent relationship now. We joke, yeah, we get into our bickering, and sometimes she doesn't listen. I gotta yell at her, or sometimes, you know, she'll just be fed up with whatever she's doing from school. So now it
Yeah.
is a lot better, but that's one part that we had to go through that was extremely rough as a parent. And I mean, it was even harder on her as a child. But
So the circus, I like to call it, you know,
yeah,
and I joke, and we all joke. This is our circus. Welcome to our circus. I'm the ringleader. Hey, you know, I'm navigating John and Chloe and Corbin and myself. When did I have time for myself? I didn't. You know, I'm helping him through his trauma and now her through her feelings, and then taking care of a baby who can't even barely talk, who's just screaming all the time and getting into everything. It was rough. So that was our 2020. COVID hit, all kinds of craziness in 2020. 2021, Corbin never slept through the night. Since the minute he came out of me, never slept through the night. That boy did not sleep through the night until he was about 4 years old. So he started having some issues with his ears. And
well, for any parent that's watching, okay, I'm going to tell you this right now because I thought it was absolute bullshit, but it's not. Okay, if any parent is watching this and you have a small child, I'm going to say small child. It doesn't matter if your kid's older or not. You could try it. But I know from our experience, no, but with a small child, I can tell you now from our experience where he wouldn't sleep at night. He was fussy and, you know, he was wild. We brought him to a chiropractor, and this guy would lay him down, and I mean, he just brush his back, or he touches his legs, and he has a little clicker. He'd click it once here, there. You're done. I'm like, he didn't even do anything. Like, he didn't crack his back. He didn't adjust him. He barely touched him. Like, I'm talking that. That is what he would do. Was wipe down like his back. But whatever he did, it worked 100%. Because when we got home, out, done, like a light, whole night, and we were like, "What happened?" Black magic. That's what it was. It's witchcraft.
So
But I'll tell you now, you're a parent and your kid's really fussy and doesn't sleep well,
chiropractor
chiropractor.
for
It
sure.
it really does work, and it's absolutely crazy.
We had to do melatonin for a long time, and we still do every now and then. But he's 5 now, and he can go to sleep.
Yeah, he's
And
pretty
it is
good.
incredible. But when Corbin was born and John was working, John would wake up sometimes at 1:30 in the morning.
Most
His
of the time.
shifts would fluctuate all the time, and it was like clockwork. When Daddy woke up, Corbin was up. So we were FaceTiming Daddy while at work, talking,
2
having
in the morning.
straight conversations with Dad for about an hour, trying to get this baby to go back to sleep. And then once Daddy got hurt, Corbin developed super crazy separation anxiety.
Yeah.
Like, it was so hard, and I had to sleep with John at the hospital for 2 months. And then we were traveling from Miami to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Constantly, doctors, surgeries, checkups, new specialists, craziness. So
Yeah, I mean, even now, he has separation anxiety and stuff like that because we'll be sitting on the couch, and he's like, "I have to go to the bathroom." Go. It's right there. I can see it. Come with me. I don't need to go with you for you to go pee, but come with me. And all he wants you to do is stand in the same room and talk to him. That's it. That's all he wants.
he is very attached to us.
Yeah.
Because we had to leave him so much as a baby. But getting into Corbin developed his own issues, and at less than 2 years old, we were taking him for his first surgery.
Yeah.
So he had to have his adenoids removed and his nose cauterized, and that was excruciating for him as John was healing from his own stuff. Now, when John came home from the hospital from his accident, John hasn't slept in the same room as me and Corbin for 4 years. He couldn't. You physically couldn't.
No. Because one,
Corbin has co-slept with me since the time he was born.
I was having crazy night terrors. I mean, I would wake up just screaming, crying, like, don't even know where I am half the time. So, yeah, I would have just absolute night terrors. And also, my head was still healing. And it was so raw in some spots that it was like almost impossible to lay my head on a pillow. So I didn't sleep like at all. It was hard for me to fall asleep. And when I did fall asleep, it wasn't long before I was waking up because I was either in pain, uncomfortable, or night terrors. So I couldn't even sleep in the same bed as her or Corbin.
We didn't want to hit your head.
Yeah.
And John literally almost every other night would come barging through the door, and I'm sleeping with Corbin, and he would need my help because he's hyperventilating or panicking or crying or freaking out. And it wasn't necessarily always from pain, but it was just crazy PTSD that would haunt him during the night.
Yeah.
So from the moment he came home, we couldn't be in the same room together, and he had to sleep by himself, and we had really respect for him and everything, and he just needed extra sleep always. So he was on so many medications, just trying to mentally and physically heal, that he was absent for a long time, emotionally and physically, because he couldn't play rough with the kids. You couldn't take a lot of the chaos from the kids, and he was just drained from surgeries and appointments.
Yeah, it was rough.
So the first
And then
2 years, he was pretty absent.
like we told you, our marriage was affected. And that's a big role was me coming out of the hospital. I was on all kinds of medication, in more pain than I've ever dealt with in my life. I've had people ask me, how bad was the pain? I've worked blue collar my whole life. My dad did it. My whole family does it. I grew up with my hands and being a boy. I was rough. I've gotten hurt 1,000 times. This this was the worst pain that I have ever dealt with in my life. I mean, I can't describe it, and I wish it on nobody. Even if I hated you like more than anybody in the world, like you're my straight enemy, I would wish it, still not wish it on you. I mean, it was hard to describe how much pain that is. So I was dealing with all that and not knowing what to do. I was going before the accident, I was at work 80 hours, 75 hours a week, nonstop working to doing nothing. And I was a real ass. I was not nice to be around. My temper was through the roof. I would get irritated like that. I would yell at her and take a lot of it out on her when she didn't do anything. And we would fight, and it would just go nowhere. It would just be just a big fight. And being with each other 24/7 did not help. I mean, we were with each other every day, every second of the day.
We still are.
Yeah.
We just go to sleep and wake up separately. And honestly, that's where our conflicts would come in, would be in the morning, like, hey, we're all yelling, screaming, rushing out the door to get to school. I'm dressing the kids, or I'm fixing lunches, or whatever the case may be. And then, then at night, like, same thing. Everybody's getting in the bath, getting a shower, getting ready for the school the next day. Like, those are our quiet times that we just needed to do things separately, because energy was just so strong in this house that, if one person was upset, the next person would get upset, the next person, and then we'd all be upset.
Big chain reaction.
Yes. So going back to John getting hurt, and, I was not very nice either. It became an extremely hard role for me to just end up in. Obviously he was the one that was hurt. I was hurting too. I have grieved the person that I married for the last 4 years. And I've had to come to terms that the person that I married is never coming back. So if you're new here, John was electrocuted to the top of his head by 4,160 volts of electricity. He had a brain bleed, a skull fracture, a traumatic brain injury. He's a 3rd and 4th degree burn survivor, along with a brain injury survivor. And while John is walking and talking and smiling and laughing, and he's still an incredible dad, he's still an incredible husband to me, his brain injury has caused some differences in his personality, in his memory. He has short-term memory loss. So and not to mention the excruciating pain that I had to witness him going through, and I couldn't help. As much as I tried to help or offered something, there was nothing I could do to relieve that pain. So it was hard for me to bear also. And, there were times where maybe I was a little too hard on him because I wanted him to heal or get better. And I'd have to be like, get out of your room, come outside, let's do something. Like, let's, anything, go to the zoo, go to the park, like, let's do something to distract you. It was almost like that tough love that I had to provide for him, that it became resentment for us, in different ways, because trauma and healing doesn't have a timeline. You can't go through something today and say, oh, in a year from now, I'll be better. 4 years later, we are not better. We will never get over that day. It will always live with us, but we are healing. And when we started 2023, we wanted to heal. And it's just been an incredible journey. When you think about it, who we've become, we didn't like those people. So together we made the choice to say, hey, let's heal ourselves individually and see if we can come back together as a family of 4 and live this life that we originally wanted.
Yeah.
And going back to all these people we've met all over the world, 75% of the people that we've met who've gone through trauma, they are so quick to jump to divorce. They are so quick to leave each other, abandon each other. It wasn't John's fault that he got hurt, and I know that. It wasn't my fault that I had to physically hurt him during his healing, and he knows that. So the things that we grew resentment towards each other for, they're not our fault.
No, and if
And
you're,
when I say physically, I'm sorry.
oh my
When
God.
I say physically hurt him, there was a time after his lat muscle was pulled from his back to use as his flat, right? He came home and his head was ginormous. I had to physically burn him multiple times a day for a long time with
Go ahead.
silver nitrate.
Silver nitrate. And that was
Silver-
to be, that was for any of the scars that I have. My scars, and majority of people, you know, when you scar, your scar rises, which is keloiding. And my head, they didn't want that to do that. So every time this started to heal, maybe you'd have a little spot that would start to keloid and come up. She would have to take silver nitrate and put it on that one spot, and it would literally burn it away. It's a chemical burn. And that felt like somebody just took a cigar and just put it down on your head every time. And I mean, we had to do it a bunch of times.
because Miami was just too far and John didn't want home health coming to see him.
No.
So the responsibility of not only being a wife and a mother, but I had to jump into full-time nurse mode. I was
Yeah.
giving him medications at all hours of the night. I was doing his wound care for him.
Yeah.
There was just so many things that we could go on for days that I had to provide for him. And I became the mean nurse, you know, and I became the nurse that wanted him to heal more than the wife that wanted to nurture him. I wanted him to heal and recover. But going back to that, like I said, there's no timeline for healing. And I understand that now because I'm still grieving. Because
What I was going to say is that if your spouse got hurt, you know, if you guys are married, even not married, and your spouse is hurt, I do know from our experience, it is a lot to deal with for the other spouse. You know, whoever's hurt, yeah, you have to deal with all the pain, the agony, and everything. But they have to deal with all your bullshit. You know, you might not realize that you're being a straight asshole, or you're just whining or crying, and they don't know what to do for you because
there's nothing to
there's
do.
no doctors, and there really isn't anything for them to do. I mean, if you're in pain, yeah, here's pain meds. That's as far as that goes. I mean, they can't do anything for you, but you can, you know, you get upset and stuff. But for the spouse that is not hurt and you're the one taking care of them, just remember, if it gets down to the point where you want a divorce or you want to leave this person and this just isn't for you, you're not cut out for it, whatever, you might not be cut out for that, but there's other options. Okay? Before you jump to leaving that person or divorcing them or whatever, because you might think it's too much for you and this is, you know, it's just too hectic and I can't do this and I have to leave. But for the other person that's hurt or injured, you're their world and you're going to walk away from them. And if you think they're doing bad now, once you leave them, they're going to slip into depression. They're going to have nobody.
And we're not forcing anybody to
I'm not
stay
forcing
with
anybody to stay with.
anybody.
No, what I'm saying is that
Because
if you wanna
let me just
leave-
stop you. That was a heavy burden for me to carry, knowing that we were heading towards separation.
yeah,
I never wanted a separation. I never want a divorce.
No.
I still don't want a divorce. I want to ride this life out with the man I married. I just have come to terms that it's not on my timeline. And we both individually still have so much healing to do. We're only 34 and 35, and we just went through fucking hell Our kids just went through hell. You know, we're still learning every single day from other survivors all over the world, their journeys and things that they've been through. And we're being educated beyond belief. But that doesn't mean that, you know, you have to stay with somebody or you have to leave them. That is ultimately your choice.
No, what I was
We're-
gonna say is that if it comes down to where you can't handle it anymore, and your first reaction is to get divorced or I'm leaving you, take a step back and think it through. And instead of divorce or leaving that person, take some space apart from each other, but be there as a friend, because you leaving is going to hurt that other person extremely, and they're already in enough, pain and whatever they're trying to recover from, and slipping into that depression. They're not going to recover anytime soon. It's going to take longer to do. They just need you. Maybe they don't need you there as a wife or a husband, but just a friend, because they need somebody to talk to, vent to, or whatever. And like I said, at the end of the day, if you need to go sleep in a hotel for a couple nights, do that and then come back. And I'm telling you, everything it'll settle a little bit where you can talk now. And I mean, if it comes down to where it's not going to work out at all, I mean, it happens.
So people get divorced and separate every single day
Yeah.
just from
Whatever.
bullshit, you know? People, there are so many reasons to get divorced or move on from somebody. It's become so easy. And we are just one of those unusual situations where we recognize this, that, hey, our home was becoming so toxic in front of our children that, you know, again, let's work on ourselves individually. Let's see each other all the time. I decided, hey, let's make a blue collar apparel line. Like our lives are so
Crazy?
crazy and unordinary. And that's what we wanted to show with you guys by being transparent like this. Like, we never thought John would get hurt.
It's to show you guys that we have our issues. We're not some fucking role model, perfect family, perfect couple. Oh my God, their marriage is perfect. And how are they doing it? Well, it's not. We've had our issues. We have gone through hell and back. And I mean, it did. It took a hell of a toll on our marriage. I mean, it fucked everything up. But we just kept trucking with it. And we knew what we wanted. We knew that we couldn't be together every single day, all day. We needed our space apart. I have my own place. She has her own place. And that's what it came down to. But we knew for our kids, we didn't want a divorce. We didn't want to go separate ways. And I don't want to deal with the kids here, or she's going to take the kids. It was, those are our children together. Together they're ours. We wanted to raise them together. We wanted to be in their lives together. So even if I was extremely pissed off at her, you just bite your tongue and that's how it goes. I mean, it's for the kids. It's not for me. It's not for her.
Right.
We wanted the kids to have the best life we can give them. And it might not be us being together every day, but we can work together and co-parent together. So that's what we decided to do for now. And
2023 and free has done wonders for our relationship. We have learned to be friends again, above all.
yeah,
We've learned to forget a lot of the arguments and stupid things that was tearing us apart.
we still argue.
We do. Well, now we work together 24/7. So it was together grieving this trauma to now together doing something amazing.
Which,
we are so
yeah,
proud
this is
of.
different. I mean,
This is the
we
happiness
still-
that I prayed for.
we still get into our arguments and bickering at each other, and
but we're married, and that's love.
but that's what it is. I mean, that's just normal. But yeah, starting the apparel company, we were really excited, and it was slow, and we were like, all right, this is pretty cool. Well, where's it gonna go? Well, then it decided, all right, well, the apparel's kind of slow. And she goes, what about if we started a podcast? And I was like, that'd be fun. And we did. We started a podcast. We did one interview, and it was like, hey, that was a lot of fun. And then we did another interview and another interview. And before you knew it, it was like everybody we said, hey, you want to come on the podcast? Yes. Which, for all, if any of the guests that have been on this podcast are watching, or any future guests are watching, I do want to tell you that I cannot explain how happy it makes me when I ask somebody if they want to be on the podcast and their reaction is, seriously? You want me to be on the podcast? Yeah. Yeah, I'm not out here looking for celebrities to be on the podcast. I want these hardworking blue collar men and women. I want people that are, you know, dealing with their own issues, their own disabilities, their own injuries. I want the real stories,
Right.
the real life, because people need to see it. And that's what I think. I don't want celebrities on here talking about their lives, because I can tell you it's a lot different from ours.
So again, this is everything that I prayed for. You know, we had a really, really hard last 4 years. And probably after year 2 is when I was like, what the heck is this man going to do to feel fulfilled, gain more confidence, and be able to go on in his life? Because PTSD and depression was wrecking him. So I thought about the apparel line, and I would ask him and ask him and ask him, and I'd sleep on it and just dream about it. And it took 2 years. So it took him getting injured, going through crazy first 2 years, and then almost 2 years after that, being in our 3rd year, to do it. And watching him flourish and learn and make new friends all over the country.
Well, that's
everything I wanted.
That's one of my favorite things to do. And to all the people that are watching, I do. I absolutely love meeting new people. And my biggest thing is I love to make people smile. I love watching people laugh and smile because I like to laugh and smile. So, like as you see on my TikTok, you got people that try to be slick with their comments and jokes. I give it right back because I love it. I find it hilarious. So, but yes, that when I was able to start interacting with people and when I started doing TikTok, to see the amount of support that started to pour in through these blue collar men and women, people telling me how, they were burned and, this year they got hurt, this time and somebody was electrocuted here, to see everybody sharing their stories and you watch it all unfold in front of you, that now a lot of the people that are sharing their stories, well, a lot of the people that are commenting that are blue collar are liking the other people's stuff. So it's becoming that blue collar and injuries and just a big mixing pot community all coming together. And it's absolutely beautiful to see.
And I have known John can make friends with The Rock, guys. Like,
I can.
Seriously.
It's very simple.
I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if you talk to every bass that you catch and like make a friend and then say, okay, see you later, little friend.
I tell him, wait, come back and grab that hook again.
He loves people. So again, guys, if you meet someone who has gone through an illness or a trauma or becomes disabled, don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to feel like you're intruding in their life or, you're checking up on them too many times, because we had a huge network of people right before John got hurt. And we lost a lot of people because they didn't know how to act or react to what happened to us. And I think we're also guilty of that. We've had people who are veterans who now we understand, hey, maybe we should have asked them questions. Maybe they want to talk about things. If they don't, that's completely fine. But people might want to talk about things that you're afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to ask. All they can say is, no, I don't feel like talking about it. instead of completely walking away from them or dismissing what happened to them, pretending like it never happened. Or,
Make sure that you ask these people, especially people that have been injured and whatever, if you're going to ask them what happened to them, please do it politely.
of course,
For me, if you see me in public, you can be like, what the fuck happened to you? I'll tell you. I don't care. That's me, okay? But not everybody is like me.
right.
And some people are very sensitive to their scars because it's very hard to grasp that this is you now, you know?
So I made T-shirts in the beginning that say,
Yeah.
"Didn't your mother teach you not to stare?"
Yeah.
Because I was getting super offended. You know, I'm sitting here walking with my husband who was crazy injured in the supermarket, and people are just staring. But at the other hand, you know, he wanted to talk about it. Nobody was asking. Now that we've created this community of people from all over the world, different walks of life, different situations, it's nice to be able to talk about things openly.
Believe me, if you comment on my stuff, I do try my hardest. If you're questions and stuff like that, I try my hardest to answer all the comments. And I mean, I almost have 6,000 comments on one video now. I have gone through almost all of your comments and I like them and I try to comment back because you supporting me, I want to be able to show you that I support you and appreciate you. But if you have a question for me, I'm going to do my best to answer it. And I mean, if I haven't got to any of your answers, keep asking. I'll see them finally. But just know that I do try to get to everybody's comment.
So, guys, you know, making this video went a lot better than I could have imagined. Being transparent and vulnerable like this about our own lives is not easy. It's so easy to talk to a guest and hear their story. But for us sharing ours, the amount of support that you guys have given us and love you have shown us, we hope it doesn't stop. And we hope that this doesn't change your opinion about us. We are human and we've made mistakes along the way and we're learning and we're just trying to be here and support each other no matter what you're going through.
For anybody that's watching that is maybe going through the same thing, or you are injured, or you have scars all over like I do, and you are sensitive to what you look like, or you're upset, or you're ashamed. I've heard that through my comments. Don't be. I mean, it does take a little bit to start to get used to them and whatever, but just remember, there's no such thing as normal anymore. There's no such thing as perfect. So
There's no
for the people,
normal marriage.
no,
That's why we're here, is because there's nothing is normal anymore.
but we want to do this because for the people that are injured and have gone through traumatic injuries and experiences that like we have, and you're watching any of our videos and stuff, don't think that, oh my God, they're perfect. No, it's bullshit. We're not perfect. We're us. We're just like you. I mean, you can do it. You can keep going through it. Don't stop. Don't quit. Be patient. There is light at the end of the tunnel. And just know, once again, no one is perfect.
Yep. And
Not everything I see on the internet is true.
it's not. So again, all
Except
of
this. This is true. It's not makeup. I did get a comment on that. It's not makeup.
no,
Okay.
it's not makeup. This is our real life. Yeah. So far 2023, we have become people who we are actually proud of now. And
Yeah.
again, we're young and we're learning and we're riding this journey out together. And we have big dreams. Once again, finally, like have big dreams again together that we're now bringing to light. And 2024, we're going to walk in transparent as ever for you guys and hope that you'll join us for this adventure because we're going to be releasing so many incredible guests. January 1st, 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, a new guest every single Monday. And yeah,
That's what I'm excited for. Because once again, like she just said, you know, we didn't know where this was going to go. And it was we started with a guest and we found another guest, and it was, oh, well, once every 2 months we'll put one out, or once a month we'll put one out. Well, now it's to the point where the amount of support and love that we're getting back from you guys and everybody that wants to come on to tell their story, which that's what we made this for. Now it's once a week.
Yep.
It's amazing. So we keep it going. Maybe it'll be 2 to 3 times a week. Who knows?
We love it.
It's
We absolutely
amazing.
love speaking with every single one of you, and it's incredible. We've touched almost all 50 states in the United States.
Yeah,
We
we're
have
getting
people
close.
coming in from everywhere, on the podcast.
I got people sending me stuff.
Yeah.
They're like,
John has fan mail.
and it baffles me. I'm like, what? Why did somebody send me something?
Right.
I had an iron worker. He sent me his local union iron worker shirt. I'm not an iron worker, but hell, I'll rep the shit out of that. That's all. I love it. I had somebody send me their company's hats today, and it's amazing. It just makes me feel good. I don't know. It's
Again,
really
guys,
cool.
These smiles that you see on our faces, they are genuine these days. We have come so far together and as individuals.
Well, believe me, if
We
I
were
have a
not
fake
able-
smile, you would know because it won't look anything like me.
We were not able to smile for a very long time. And
No,
we are,
it was hard to smile.
it was very hard to smile, but we're doing it again, and anything is possible. And that's what this video is about. You don't have to hate anyone. You don't have to hate each other. He didn't do this on purpose. I didn't do this, to our family either. Shit happens. Shit happens all around us every single day. Be kind to people. You don't know what people are going through.
That's 100%.
Like, his mental health mattered so much to me that I knew I needed to take steps back. My mental health means so much to me because I have 2 children relying on me, and I have him relying on me. So, everybody every now and then needs to do what's best for themselves, but you don't have to hate each other. You don't have to
No.
resent each other. You don't have to jump to divorce unless that's absolutely 1,000,000% what you want.
Believe me, and it's normal to get mad at the other person when you're going through something like this.
Right.
Resentful, it's going to happen. Someone is going to be resentful for something. It's normal. That is going to happen. There's no way around it. I mean, you're going to get pissed off. They're going to get pissed off. But in the end, you just have to remember that she's doing what she's doing to help you, or he's doing what he's doing to help you. And it's not their fault. It's not your fault. It's just the situation sucks. There's no other way to put it. The situation sucks. So you just have to work through it together. And I mean, it is hard. This is no easy journey. So don't, us sitting here telling you this, just remember this was very hard for us.
Mm-hmm.
And, it is hard for anybody. But at the end of the day, if you guys love each other, that has to be in your head always. That's what it is. So try and stick it out as best you can.
And listen, we've threatened
Talk.
divorce. We've threatened divorce a million
Oh
times
yeah,
to each other.
that words come out. That's the divorce. I'm like, fuck it, I'll divorce you too.
But at the end of the day, again, getting electrocuted doesn't happen to people every day. Not at least that you hear about.
Yeah, that's it.
Getting
You don't hear about it.
divorced happens every day. So in your life, you can choose where you want it to go. And for us, we have this very unique, one-of-a-kind situation where no matter where life takes us, I don't ever think that we won't be in each other's lives. Like, that's what today is about, is showing everybody who we are and what we mean to each other, and that anything is possible, no matter
That's
what
true.
you're going through.
Anything is possible.
So again, guys, we wish you very happy holidays, a very happy new year, and thank you for coming on this ride with us, because this has turned into something.
Coming on this ride, you better buckle up because it ain't over.
This has turned into everything I hoped for. John needed friends. I needed friends. Our kids needed to feel like they weren't the only kids in the world whose parents have gone through craziness.
Yeah.
You know, we take our kids down to Jackson Memorial Ryder Trauma Center in Miami now.
Which was
They
last
meet
weekend.
patients in their own hospital rooms. They see them burn. They see them, amputees. They've seen people in all kinds of different situations.
And
They're not afraid.
no, and that's the thing. I mean, my son, this is what he knows since he was 1. He's 5 now. So for 4 years of his life, most of his life, daddy has had scars. So it's pretty normal to him. And then we go down, last year we took them and they kind of, they haven't really seen kids that have been burned. So they didn't really know what to do, but they they were nice and they talked a little bit. This year when we did it, there's a sweet, sweet little boy, and he was burned in a house fire, and he was burned very bad. Um, and Corbin and him were just giggling and laughing and playing with a balloon. And I mean, as a parent, you couldn't be more proud of that situation because my son saw nothing but a child that wanted to play.
Yep.
And that's all he thought was, I could make a friend. We could play with this balloon.
And our daughter with her own disability, she doesn't see
No,
anybody either.
she don't give a shit. She
We're raising children that will sit with anyone.
that's the thing. Everybody looks different these days. I mean, and there is more accidents, and it's sad to say this, that, there's more children that are we see it as from the burn side, there's a lot more children being burned every year. And for our kids to see them no different from what they used to look like to now is awesome because those are the kids that are going to need a friend in school.
Yep.
And our kids are going to be those kids to be their friends.
This has turned out to be the most
Humbling, yeah.
journey of a lifetime. We went through hell and we're coming out the other side. We're doing it together as a family. And yeah, we can't wait to bring you guys along on this journey. We can obviously talk forever about so much within the last few years, but
Yeah.
stay tuned because, like I said, 2024, we're here for it. We're healing and we can only get stronger.
Yep.
So stay tuned, guys, and thank you for all of your support.